Okay, good morning, everyone. We are going to get started here with our preview of some recent features that we've released, or demonstration of some recent features that we've released. My name is Jason. I run the CSM team, the Customer Success Managers at Mindflash, and I've also got Laura Rhodes with me, who is one of our product managers and works with the product team to bring all these great features to us. So we will get started here quickly. Pretty straightforward, the format. We're going to go through some of the, or we'll go through all of the recent enhancements. We'll outline some of the quicker ones at the front here, and then we will get going with some of the bigger ones. We'll show you how all of those work. But as always, we welcome any of your questions, whether they're on these particular features or on other aspects of Mindflash. We're happy to stick around and answer those questions at the end, and we'll just kind of go through those questions in order. You'll see on the right-hand side of the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar menu on the right of your screen that there's a questions box. Feel free to answer any questions or enter any questions there, and then we can go through those at the end. So as they come up, just put them in, and we'll address them in order that we get them. First of all, I just wanted to mention to everyone that we've had this product available, I think, for a little over 4 years now. 2014 was a huge year for us, and we appreciate all of your being part of that success. We had over 2 million course completions last year, which is twice what we did in all of the years previous to that. So we're really excited about that, and we're looking to continue that momentum, and as part of that are the constant enhancements that you've seen to the product. As most of you know that have been around for a while, but those of you who are newer to us are probably, this may be your first new features webinar, but we release features on a very regular basis, and you'll just see them drop into the product, and we'll have webinars that announce them, but they're available as we release them. And most of those features are based on feedback that we get from customers requesting enhancements, or this is what I'm trying to solve, how can I do that? That's the sort of feedback that's really helpful for us. There's a spot in the product where you can enter that information. You can talk to your customer success manager if you have one. You can send us an email to our support team. All of that information is of huge use to us and helps us prioritize what we're going to work on. And if you do request an enhancement, or there's an area where you want to see improvements, it's very likely you'll get a call from someone like Laura asking you, or an email asking you for a little more detail, and maybe even showing you some thoughts that we have on how we might be able to solve that problem. So, if you are interested in that sort of stuff and you're looking to solve different problems, please let us know, and we're happy to catch up with you and learn the details of that. So the way this will work here is Laura actually is going to run through a lot of the details of the features. I'll be driving and showing you what those look like and where they are in the product. And then once we wrap up with all the new feature rundown, we'll address questions and talk about where we're headed next. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Laura, and we can start showing you all the new stuff that's been added.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jason. So yes, first we're going to cover some of the smaller recent enhancements, and the first of these is that you can now have answer feedback for quiz questions. We were hearing from customers that they wanted to be able to explain to their trainees why the correct answer was the correct answer and why the other options were incorrect. And that's where the answer feedback comes into play. If you go to the quiz editor within a course, and Jason's going to open that up for us, but you're going to turn on the show correct answer option for that, and that is on a per quiz basis. So you'll see on the right there that's where the box lives, the show correct answer box, and you can put the feedback on the right-hand side in this text box that appears. This box, when you fill the box out, the text that shows up in there will show up for trainees after they have selected the correct answer or after they have run out of tries. So the explanation of the correct answer will give the trainee a little bit more insight into why the answer is what it is.
Just one note on this real quickly. As a default setting on quizzes, the show correct answer is not turned on. So if you go into create a quiz or one of your existing quizzes and you don't see the explanation box in the bottom right-hand corner, just check that box, the show correct answer, and it will show up. So you can see I can turn it on and off. And if it's checked there, then it will show the answer if there's one in there.
Great. Okay. So the second recent enhancement is the ability to unarchive courses. Customers sometimes come to us, they've archived their courses on accident, or they decide that they want to be able to reuse their previously archived course. And this is now possible. You can unarchive your previously archived course, and any trainees that were in that course when it was archived will be reinstated in the same state they were in when it was archived originally. This is really easy to do. Just go into your archived course and click on the reactivate button. And this will put it back into a live state where trainees can continue taking the course. The next enhancements are some additions to custom branding, which is a pro-level feature. To turn all of these enhancements on, you'll go to the Manage Account page, and there's a checkbox for branding, which we'll take a look at. But previously, we took the mention of Mindflash out of all emails when you had custom branding turned on, and the trainee dashboard. But some of the browser tabs still had mention of Mindflash. So this was causing a few problems for customers who were looking for a completely white-labeled experience. With the latest changes, we've taken Mindflash out of the tab title in the browser and swapped out the Mindflash icon on the tab for a generic icon. So if you uncheck this box that Jason just unchecked, Mindflash, all mention of Mindflash goes away for the trainee.
Just a quick note on this one, this is a feature that's available on our Pro tier. So if you don't see it in your account and you're on an advanced or basic, that's as expected. If you're on Pro, then you'd have access to this and turn it on and off.
Another part of this custom branding is if you've set up a custom domain for your portal, any emails that are sent out will now have that custom domain in the links. That'll be for all email correspondence that goes to trainees, like invitations. No longer will you see our short URL, you'll see your custom domain that you've entered. And then the last thing I want to mention is we are allowing trainees to take courses on the iPad without using our iPad app. We still recommend using the iPad app over the browser, but if you don't want any Mindflash branding to appear, then you can have your trainees use the browser instead of our iPad app. So that's the last point for custom branding. The final improvement was an interface and functionality enhancement for custom fields. Customers that use the public registration page want to be able to decide which custom fields show up for trainees when they register, and then which of these are actually required for the trainees to fill out. Now trainers can not only decide which fields show up, but they can make some of those fields required so that trainees can't skip them when registering. So perhaps they have to put in their social security number, but you don't really care if they fill out what their favorite color is. You can do that now with the custom fields. And as you see here on the custom fields page, which you access from Manage Users, you can decide to show or hide the fields you set up and then make them required or not with the checkbox. If you're on the Pro tier, you have 10 extra fields, and if you're on any other tier, then you just have the one custom field. But these enhancements are for all of the tiers. It just depends on how many fields you have. Okay, so that is all the smaller recent enhancements. Now we're going to talk about some bigger new features, the first of which are the new user roles. We've added 2 new user roles for those on the Pro tier. They are the team lead and reporter roles, and they've been added to solve a few different use cases. We often see that customers of Mindflash are creating courses for their customers. They'll sell these they'll sell these courses to their customers, and they'll sell their customers a specific number of training logins, allowing the end users to log in and get the training they need. In these situations, the Mindflash customer wants to allow someone from an outside company to log in and see how the end users are doing in the courses. They want to make sure that those supervisor-type people can reset and remind the end users, but they don't want those people adding additional trainees to the system because they've sold them a specific number of seats, so they don't want them to just add more people to the system and invite them to courses that they shouldn't have access to. We've also seen that they want to make sure that the customers aren't dropping the end users from the courses because they need to take these courses, and if they drop them, then we have an issue. So this is where the team lead role comes into play. The team lead role has the ability to manage trainees in the courses and series that they're already in, but they can't add or drop them from courses or series. So team leads are unable to impact the roster of a course or series, but they can manage the people within those courses. And again, this role can be limited to the specific groups that the administrator sees fit. We also have customers who only want their outside companies or supervisors or whoever it is logging in to view reporting data on their trainees. So our Mindflash customers will manage all the end users. They'll invite them. They'll put them where they need to be, make sure they're taking the courses. But they do want an outside person able to log in and view the reporting data on all the end users. And this is what the reporter role can do. They can log in. They can view the course and series reports on their people, but they can't make any changes to the courses or the people in the account. So it's really just a view-only role. Which again, you can limit to group membership. And then to give people this permission, you just go to the Manage Users page, and you can either select an existing person and change their role on the right-hand side, or when you're creating a new person, you can just designate which role you want them to have. Again, that's something that the administrator can do, and these are all pro. This is all pro level functionality. Okay, so moving on, the next feature we're going to highlight is the ability to export your course files. We have gotten lots of calls from people who their computer has crashed and all of their files were on that computer, or they never had the files to create the courses because they were developed and saved by an ex-employee. Without the hard copies of a course, it's very hard to recreate those slides, and it takes a lot of time. So people would like to download that content from the course. So that's what we've enabled you to do. This is available for all tiers. However, if you're on the pro tier, just make sure you're the administrator because only administrators can download the content. But all you need to do is go into the course in question, and you'll see on the Manage tab this icon that allows you to download all the files. Another problem that this is going to solve is we have a lot of people using the Mindflash voiceover recording feature for their slides, and this is really easy to do. However, if you want to move that recorded audio to a different slide, it gets a bit tricky. So with this download feature, when you download your course content, you'll also be downloading any voice recordings you did inside Mindflash. That way you can embed those audio files onto whatever PowerPoint you might want offline and then re-upload the new presentation. So we're making it really easy to get all of that content. So if Jason wants to open up, oh, it's a big file, isn't it?
So unfortunately GoToWebinar is crushing my machine right now. So I don't have the download speed that I normally would. Oh, hey, what do you know? So I was going to say trust us, it works, but
But it will download a zip file with that has all of the files you uploaded originally, and depending on what you've uploaded. So here we have a PowerPoint. We also have all of the audio files that were in that PowerPoint. And if you had recorded some voiceover recordings, you'll also have that. So this had a lot of audio files, as you can see. But everything you need to recreate or re-upload your course content will be in that zip file, making it really easy. Okay. This next feature we're going to highlight is the one that requires trainees to view the entirety of each video in their course. We're hearing a lot from trainers that they want to make sure the trainee can't skip through a video. They're required to watch the entire video. So sometimes trainers are also depending on the duration tracking reports to prove that trainees viewed the whole course. And when the video time is much longer than the amount of time that they see in the report, they know that trainees are skipping parts of the course and valuable information. So to solve this problem, we've added a feature that takes away the fast-forwarding capability on all videos. When this feature is turned on, trainees will be required to sit through the entire video. Jason's going to quickly show you where to turn this on. It's from the Customize tab in the course, and here at the bottom, you're going to uncheck this button, which disables fast forwarding for trainees. One thing to note is if you're using the Focus Assist feature, this box is going to automatically be unchecked, and that's because the Focus Assist feature already requires that trainees do not fast forward. So if you're using both and you see that one is grayed out, don't be alarmed. That's just, you want that already, so you can't uncheck it again. Yeah, and this feature is available on all tiers. So whether or not you have Focus Assist, it doesn't matter. But if you are using it, just wanted to add that note. Okay, so that wraps up the new features, and I'm going to give it back to Jason and possibly some questions. Oh, we're going to talk about upcoming enhancements.
Yeah, so I think probably about this time next month we'll have another webinar to go through a feature that we've gotten a lot of requests around that we're currently working on. We don't have an exact release date yet as normal, but once we do have that ready, we will run through how it works with everyone. But basically we're working on the ability to have an internally facing catalog, course catalog, so that will allow your trainees that have been granted access to a course catalog to browse courses from within their Mindflash dashboard when they log in to go select courses they want to take. So a very common scenario for that is if you're doing internal training within your organization, they have a set group of courses that all the new hires have to take, so those would be assigned courses, but you may have a bunch of other courses that they can take to, either learn more about their position or more about the company or something like that are optional. And you can create a course catalog and then present those to people, and they can go and browse and take those courses as they see fit, courses or series for that matter. So that is something that is currently under development and is coming in the near future. So we're pretty excited about that because we have gotten a lot of questions about that in the past. So I think next up we're just going to answer a bunch of questions. This is always pretty popular as we have a lot of people in this webinar, so I'm assuming there are going to be quite a few questions that come up. If you do have questions, as I mentioned, on the right-hand side there's a questions box, and you can just type in your question there and we'll answer those before we take off today. And certainly if you have any questions about what we just saw, definitely ask those, but we'll also address any other questions you might have around Mindflash and how it works. Laura is certainly a great person to discuss this sort of stuff with, so if you have any particular questions, then just let us know. So let's get started. Is there a beginner's webinar available to help get started with Mindflash? There is a beginner's webinar, and that is available on our YouTube channel. So you can always go there. The other great resource for beginners is our Help Center. We maintain documentation on our product at help.mindflash.com. That has a ton of articles that detail sort of high-level things on, overview of creating a course or something like that. It also has very specific things on, how do I set up my custom domain and very specific things like that. I would definitely encourage you to go there. It's searchable. You can just go and browse it if you want to. You can search for specific things. But that's a really great resource and something that I would encourage you to use as much as possible. Will the reporting data still be available for previously archived courses when reactivated?
Yes, it will. When you reactivate a course, like I said, the people that were in progress in that course are going to go back and be in progress. The past people will still be past, and you'll still have all your reporting data from that archived course that is now back to active.
Just clarification on that, for advanced reporting, if you unarchive a course, are the previous results available the next day or the next update?
Oh, that's a good question. For good data?
Yes.
I'm not sure, actually. I would assume so.
Okay. Yeah, so you may see some delay in the advanced reporting for that course to show up, but the rest of the reporting is all there historically, and you can just turn that back on, and you would have access to it again.
And actually, when you archive a course, we don't get rid of the reporting data. We actually show it to you all the time. So yeah, whether it's right. archived or not, yeah. You're still going to see that data.
So it will be in the advanced reports.
It should be fine,
as soon as
yeah.
you turn it on. Yeah, absolutely. New features, non-skip and explanation quiz. Can you retrospectively update courses?
We don't turn the feature on by default, but you can go and turn it on for existing courses.
Yeah, so the question, we're not exactly clear, but for explanation of quiz answers, you can go in there right now. Let's say you have an active course, and you can turn that feature on, and you can fill out the feedback, and anybody who goes through that course in the future is going to see that feedback. And you can edit your quizzes at any time. Just note that if you do edit the quizzes, anybody going through the quiz or that will be going through the quiz will see those updates.
Is there screen recording software built into the Mindflash product? There's not screen recording software built into Mindflash. For the most part, and I will explain the two exceptions to this, but for the most part, you'll create all of your content in tools outside of Mindflash. The concept behind that being that, first of all, a lot of people already have content, and the second being that you're probably already familiar with a lot of the tools we support, like Word, PowerPoint, PDF. So we try to keep all of the course creation out of Mindflash itself, and then you can import it, and we do the best job we possibly can, and I would argue the best job available, to represent that content as it was in its original format. The two exceptions to what I just said are quizzes, which you create in Mindflash, and you can record audio over your slides in Mindflash, or any of your course content for that matter, in Mindflash. Those are two possibilities that, or two aspects that you would do in Mindflash. In terms of screen recording software, basically anything that you can create a video with or do a screen recording with that exports to a common file format, a video file format, will work in Mindflash. So once you have that screen recording, you can upload it as a video to Mindflash, and it would play just as it does in any video player. Two that I would direct you to are a piece of software by Adobe called Captivate. That's a great tool for doing screen recording. And also a product called Camtasia, which is also good for that. So those are two probably the most common tools that we see for screen recordings. But if there's another tool that you're comfortable with or you'd like to do your screen recordings in, certainly that's fine as long as they export to a video format. In the new roles, do the team leads and managers have visibility of all courses and series, or only the courses and series for their company, in a scenario where my company is selling training to other companies?
So at this point, they will have visibility of all the courses in series. However, they will only see the people that are in the groups that they have control over. So they might be able to see the other courses that they exist, but they wouldn't be able to A, see any of the content that's in those courses, or B, see any of the people that are not specifically assigned to them.
Can you export and download quiz files? That is not possible through the new export file. You would only be able to pull out the files that you uploaded and the audio that you've added in Mindflash. It's not actually possible to pull out the quizzes themselves. Can the course be marked as temporary unavailable when editing the course? So I suspect this comes around the question of unarchiving courses, or the feature of unarchiving courses. It is not marked as temporarily unavailable. It's marked as archived. And in fact, your trainees, when you move it into an archived status, are notified that the course is archived. So in general, we would recommend that you use the archive status when you truly think that the course is going to be archived for a long period of time, not for just editing purposes. We allow you to edit courses that are in an active position. So it's possible to just go in and change those courses as necessary when they are active. So you won't necessarily have to put them into an archive position in order to do that. The unarchive function is built more for some reason down the road you realize, like, oh, I don't want to archive that course, and it's unexpected, or people make mistakes in archive courses all the time and contact us and say, hey, I archived this course by accident, can you unarchive it? So it's really built for those sorts of functions, not for the actual editing. So if you want to do the editing, I would recommend that you do it while the course is in an active status. Excuse me. What does measure and require engagement mean?
So that is our Focused Assist feature, and the Focused Assist feature, if you turn it on, requires that, well, A, that your trainees have some type of webcam, and then it will make sure that your trainee is looking at the screen and paying attention to the course. It records the trainee's face. It doesn't actually take a recording and send it anywhere. It just measures how much of the time the trainee is looking at the screen, and it also requires that the trainee see the entire course as it is without fast forwarding. So that's just a setting of the Focus Assist feature, and if you want to know more about Focus Assist, there's articles in the help Mindflash, help.mindflash.com, and we can always give you more data on that.
You can also get to those help docs if you go into the Customize tab. There's a Learn More link under the Focus Assist section, and that'll take you to those help docs in the Help Center. When a course with audio has been downloaded, how do you upload the audio back in again? It's a good question. So with Mindflash, we support audio created and added to Mindflash in a variety of ways. So the one that's being referred to here is actually recording the audio directly in Mindflash. So you can do that if you're on the Arrange tab. There's a little microphone image underneath each of the slides, and you can record audio. You can see that this slide has audio recorded on it. And you can do that for each of the different slides you have in there. So if you export it and then you have all these audio files and you want to update the course and put them back in, the best way to do that is actually to attach the audio files to the PowerPoint itself. So when you're in PowerPoint, you have two options on how you can do audio in PowerPoint. One is to record the audio directly in PowerPoint. The other is to attach outside audio files to the PowerPoint slides. So in the scenario if you've downloaded the audio from Mindflash and you want to put it back into Mindflash, you would attach the audio files to the slide and then re-upload the PowerPoint, and it will play the audio files that are on those PowerPoint slides. So that is a great segue to directing you to the Help Center. There's some pretty specific information on how to manage your audio in Mindflash and what your different options are. We do support a lot of different options, so it's a great place to go to kind of read up on what the best option is for you. But if you do have further questions on that, just let us know. It's not easy, and you'd be amazed at the number of people that don't know you can record audio in PowerPoint and do that sort of stuff. So we come across this all the time. Do the new features only apply to Pro?
Some of them do, but I'll just quickly point out which ones do and which ones don't. So the new roles, new permission roles of team lead and manager, that's a Pro only feature. Exporting training, anybody can do that, any tier. Enforced watching videos, again, that's for everybody. Any tier can make use of that. And the explanation of quiz answers is for all tiers. Unarchiving courses is for all tiers. Custom field enhancements also for all tiers. And then custom branding with turning all mention of Mindflash and whitelisting your portal, that is a Pro-only feature. So there are a few Pro-only features, but actually most of these are for everybody.
Great. Really appreciate the new reporter role. That's huge. Thank you. That actually is a good example of getting feedback from people after we released a feature. We released multiple roles about a year ago, I think, and before too long, a few people said, okay, well, I've got this scenario that I'd really like to have someone that can just log in and view reports and do nothing else, because our previous roles allowed them to put them in courses. So that's great feedback from the customers, and you're seeing that come into the product. So please keep that up, and that's really helpful. Are we going to get the ability to export quiz questions in an editable format too? There are no plans to do that at this time. To be honest, part of that is because it's not possible to import questions into Mindflash. So at this point, that's not something that we're planning on doing. Certainly, if we hear the call for it, then we may add that in the future, but it's not on our short list at the moment. Is it possible to create a drop-down field under the custom page for registration?
At this time, that's not possible. Right now, they're just text fields. That's a good idea, so we'll take that into consideration, but that is not a feature that currently exists.
Any plans to allow the use of triggers within PowerPoints that are uploaded? There are not any plans to do that at this time. I think in terms of our PowerPoint conversion, we're dedicated and committed to supporting as many animations as possible, and basically any animation you can do on a slide right now we support. We will also continue to support the different the different audio options. We support embedded video. We support links in PowerPoints. All that sort of stuff is on our list of items that we're dedicated to supporting. But triggers is not something that we're planning on at this time. One thing you may look at with triggers, if it's really important and you want to go down that route, you may look at using a piece of software like Captivate or Articulate Storyline in order to create those and those tools. We do support those on our Pro tier as part of our SCORM support, and I believe that both of those tools allow you to do trigger-like functions that you could then upload and put as part of your course. How can we have quiz answers show in the order they were entered? I have random answers unchecked. So just a quick clarification on this. This is actually a point of confusion occasionally. And let me move something around real quickly. Okay, so in a quiz, this random question order, it refers to the questions, not the actual answers themselves. The answers are always randomized in the presentation to the trainees. So it's not possible to turn off the randomized question order. If you do have some items like you You can't, okay. That's curious.
Oh, Terrence is saying it's back.
Okay, so I apologize. I'm told that we lost audio there for a minute. So I apologize. I don't know exactly where that dropped out. we're talking about the random question order. I just wanted to clarify that the checkbox on the left-hand side is the randomization of the questions within a quiz, not the answers within a question. The answers within a question are always randomized, and there's not a function for turning that off. We do have the all of the above and none of the above options at the bottom that will always remain anchored to the bottom if you have questions that require those, but there's no way to lock in the actual answer order itself. So an extension of that is generally not a good idea to put A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of your questions because they will be randomized, and that looks a little bit funky. So you might want to think about that. When will the enhancement of emailing managers to other admins when a trainee fails a course? So this is a scenario where someone is designated as a manager and the manager gets emailed when one of the people that is associated with them fails a course. This is not something that we have in the works at the moment. We definitely have gotten a few requests for this, but it's not on our short list of items to add to the system, so I don't have a scheduled time at this point. I've asked for open-ended essay-style questions to be added to the quiz functions. Any updates on this? Right now I have to jury-rig the evaluation at the end, and it's not as beneficial. Yeah, so again, this is a question or a feature that we have gotten requests for. It's also not something that we're planning on adding to the system. All of our quizzes are scoreable in an automated fashion by the system. Essay-style questions obviously are not. They have to be reviewed by a trainer, and that's sort of counter to how our quizzes run. It's not to say that it won't ever be added, but there are no intentions at this point to add that. So I don't want to give the impression that it's something that we're currently working on, but we're not planning on doing that anytime soon. So a question on whether or not we can send the links to the Help Center and YouTube after the webinar. Absolutely. We're happy to do that. We'll also send a recording of this webinar, so you'll get the video. It takes us a little while to process it, but once we do that, we will send that out to anyone who registered for the webinar. You'll get that, and then we can also include in links to our Help Center and our YouTube channel. Happy to do that. Could we look at the voice option for test questions for employees that do not read well or have other disabilities?
That's not something that I've actually heard before. I do understand the use case here, but there aren't plans to do that. We will look into that, but we haven't really heard that, so it's not anything that's on our backlog.
When updating SCORM content, a user still seems to be able to advance with the right arrow buttons even though there are more slides to view. Is there a way to force users to advance SCORM slides right or before the right arrow and Mindflash will work? So this is something that I would recommend that you reach out to your customer success manager, and if you don't know who that is, you can just email help@mindflash.com and we can take a look at it. I have heard that this has been an issue for people, but I also heard that we've found the magical setting deep in the tools that create the SCORM content that turns that functionality off. It's actually a setting within the SCORM file. So this is super detailed on SCORM. So please just contact your CSM or our help center or our help folks, and we can give you the details on how to do this. We're happy to go through that with you, but I believe it's a setting within the actual SCORM file itself. In the Advanced Reporting tab in Series, there is a total accumulative time. This is not very helpful. Can you add average time in Series, and if so, when? Yeah, so this was made, or I came across this recently. I believe that this is something that we're looking at. I don't know the time to release. In general, if we don't have something in the product, we can tell you what we're working on, but we don't actually have dates for release until it's ready to go. We release everything that we build more or less as soon as we have it through QA. So as soon as that is possible, we will do that. And I believe that it's something that we're looking at, and someone is trying to get that We have the basic version with 50 trainees. I got a message today from a trainee that the course was full and could not register. I checked it out and only 28 were active in the course, either passed the test or currently active in the course. Why did this happen? So we'd have to take a look at your account to verify this, and anyone in our support team would be happy to do that. If you just email support@mindflash.com, we would be happy to do that. My initial reaction is on this that it's your active trainees is not just the people who are in an individual course, it's actual users in the account. So if you have 50 users in the account, regardless of the number that are in the course itself, that can hit your max. So I would look at your trainees page, your managed trainees page, and I can show you, I can do that in 1 second here just to show you how that works. If you go to the sorry. Okay, so if you go to the Managed Trainees page, or Managed Users, excuse me, this shows you the full list of all the people that are in an active position. It's got a countdown at the bottom here. So anyone that appears in this list is in an active position. You can also see archived by clicking archived in the bottom right-hand corner. But if this says 50, then you're at your 50 max, and you can easily archive someone by clicking their name and hitting the archive button here. But if you have further questions on that, just contact support and we'd be happy to look at it and see what's going on. Is there a manual that shows you how to use all the features of Mindflash? Yes, that's our help center. If you go to help.mindflash.com, you can browse it there and see anything, or you can search for specific issues. There's also this little tab on the right-hand side when you're in the application itself. If you click that, it asks you what your question is, and we'll show you if we have any help documents available in the Help Center. It will also allow you to submit a ticket to us if you have an issue, or there's something you come across that you think is a problem. You can do it there, but that's a quick way to just search our Help Center and figure out if there's a help item for you. We're having a lot of issues with audio in our training modules. We use Audacity for recording, and it sounds fine in PowerPoint, but it's distorted when we upload a Mindflash. Any advice? Yeah, so this is a very specific issue that our help and support team would be more than happy to look at and figure out what's going on. We'd have to look at the actual files themselves and see what's happening there. So if you want to submit a ticket to help@mindflash.com or by going to our Help Center, we'd be happy to take a look at that and see what's going on. Are there any plans to add filtering to manage trainees so that you can identify trainees that have completed all training? This would be a very useful feature for customers that have more trainees than possible active trainees.
So we do have plans for some changes to the Managed Trainees page. We do want to enhance that page. That is a big project, so we don't have a date on when that would be released, but this is a great feature request for that project, so we'll keep that in mind. But again, we do want to enhance that page in the near future.
How to edit questions within a quiz. I entered one in and need to go back and back to the question, but I'm unable to go to a specific question to edit. Let me show you how you can do that. If you go into the quiz, you will get this screen, so you click on the quiz to edit. The questions are listed down the left-hand side here, so if you want to edit the first one, you just click on it there. It will appear in the body here, and you can change the question as necessary. You can do that with any of the questions, and then you'll have to hit apply here once you do that, and that will save your changes, and we'll update it within the course. Is there ability to use Mindflash without being connected to the internet? Then we're ready to send answers that can then connect at a later time. It's not possible to use Mindflash without an internet connection. It will require an internet connection. We do support mobile devices, so those are increasingly prevalent and are, in many cases always connected to the internet. So if you do have people that are remote, I would recommend that you use, or you suggest they use mobile devices to take their courses, but it's not possible to access it without an internet connection. When you change a quiz question, or a quiz answer, what will happen to the trainees who have previously answered the question, but based on the update, is it now incorrect?
Yeah, so if you, well, first of all, if you edit any of your courses that are live, just know that you could be tampering with your previous reporting information. So any changes that happen after a trainee has passed a course, their scores will not be affected. If they passed with 70% and you change all the requirements, you'll still see that they passed at 70%. Now, if you go actually look at the report of the quiz itself, it might not make much sense because the questions have now changed and they were marked correct previously and now they're incorrect. So whenever you make changes to an active course, just be careful and just be aware that you will be affecting how reporting data looks, but overall the actual score of the trainee will remain constant.
When downloading a module, are hidden slides also downloaded? Yes, they absolutely would be. The way we do that is we actually just export the PowerPoint that you imported. So if you had a PowerPoint that had 20 slides, you'd get a PowerPoint that had 20 slides when you export it, regardless of what their state was in Mindflash. When entering a quiz, I chose the wrong format that I wanted for that particular question, but was unable to go back and re-choose the format I wanted. So once you have created a quiz question, so I'm already in the quiz window here, so I can actually kind of show how this works. So if I have this question and maybe I wanted true-false instead of a multiple choice, there's no way to actually edit this specific question to turn it into another question format. In that case, the best thing to do would be add a new question and choose the question type that you're looking for, and then delete the question that you don't want in there. So you just recreate a new question and delete the previously existing question that you don't want anymore. Once PowerPoint uploaded and recording within Mindflash, will you ever have the ability to level out the volume? There are no plans to add this. The volume should be consistent across all of your slides that you've added into Mindflash. When we've seen this in the past, there actually are a lot of subtleties in the audio files that come in from PowerPoint, but there are no plans to actually add audio editing capabilities within Mindflash at this time. Again, not to say that it won't be in the future, but there are no plans at the moment. When will you allow Series to have an uploaded icon instead of the generic folder it currently is in Mindflash? So I believe this question refers to the admin side, right, Laura?
I think so.
Because we do show the thumbnails of the first slide of the courses that are
on the public course page.
On the public course page.
It might also be on the trainee interface on the dashboard when you click on a series. The actual image there is generic. So we'll take that feedback. Again, that's not currently at the top of our backlog, but we do hear you, and we'll take that into consideration.
Is it possible to make quizzes exportable? We covered this previously, but it's not possible at this time, and we're not planning on adding that in the near future. For survey answers, is it possible to see the response for just one trainee? Currently, you can only export everything and pick out the answer from the person you are trying to find.
Yeah, so the way that survey reports work is it's all on an aggregate level, and then you can export it and see it on an individual level. And there are no, I want to say, changes that are planned for the near future for this. We do know that there are some limitations for surveys, and we are looking into how we're going to better that experience, but that's not something that's going to be released in the near future. So for now, you'll have to download that, you'll have to export that file to Excel to get that information on an individual level.
So I'm reading a question real quick. if they do not reach the passing score, can trainees retake a quiz within a course as opposed to retaking the full course? That's not possible. If you fail the course or a specific quiz within a course, you would have to retake the entire course. One thing to consider if you have longer courses that have multiple quizzes, if you break that course up into multiple courses and use a series to tie them together, that will allow smaller chunks to be reset if they need to retake it. So if you have 5 quizzes in your course and there's 5 sections, if you make each of those sections into a course and then you use a series with enforced order in order to set that up, then in theory they could go back and just reset the one section that they made mistakes on or that they didn't pass. Is there a way to export survey results from all courses rather than one course at a time? There's not. You would have to go into individual courses and export them from the reporting, and there's no mass download of all of the quiz information. I would prefer to record within Mindflash due to the ability to record each slide individually and have the ability to re-record if needed. In PowerPoint, I have to do the entire thing start to finish versus each slide, and I have to make change to re-record the entire presentation. That's actually not the case with PowerPoint. You can record slide by slide in PowerPoint, and actually PowerPoint is really good if you have animation on your slides because you can actually time your animations with your audio files, so that's actually a really good tool for doing that. One thing that I do when I create my courses that have animation and audio on them, I sometimes actually record the audio in an outside system, like if you're using a Mac, you could use GarageBand or something like that. I then attach those audio files to the PowerPoint, and then I time the audio or time the animation so that it syncs with the audio. If you use timed animation and you do, set the animation up so that each animation follows the previous and put the appropriate timing in there, it's a pretty straightforward and easy way to set that up so that it just kind of plays through like a movie, or like if Laura and I are talking and bullet points are coming in, it plays in that regard. If you do have questions on how this works, we'd be happy to help you out on that. And show you how to do that in PowerPoint, but you can definitely record on individual slides in PowerPoint, and based on kind of your question, I suspect that's probably what you would want to do in order to get that all set up right.
We've done a lot of recording over the years, and we have seen a big difference in microphones, so the better microphone you can get, the better your audio is going to sound, just so you know.
Okay, let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting to the questions when we had audio problems. There's a big chunk of those. Okay. In labeling questions, there's a limit to the amount of text that can be added. Is there anything in the works to extend the amount of characters in labeling quiz questions?
Again, that's another feature that we have been working on. We do want to increase the amount of text you can put in there, and an overhaul of quizzes is something we're looking at. But again, a big project that is not going to be released in the near future. So thank you for that feedback. We have heard it, and we're looking into that project.
Yeah, quizzes are sort of on our long-term roadmap, so definitely something we're aware of, but not immediately working on. Suggestion, a way of making the handout docs only available after the quiz. Okay, that's definitely a good feedback. One thing you may want to think about as a workaround is if you can make those available on the internet. We do support links in courses, so you can put a link to your handouts. Like if you have like a Box account or a Dropbox account or something like that, you could put a link in a PowerPoint slide to those files at the point you want them in the course, and then they can go and download them there. So workaround, definitely not ideal. Your suggestion makes a lot of sense, but that would allow you to do that in the short term. During the presentation, can you have listed the percentage they have completed within the presentation? So this is like their progress through the course. So when they're in the course player, it shows what slide they are on in relation to the total number of slides within the course. In addition, in the course player at the bottom, and let me flip over to it real quickly just so that everyone sees this. I'm not sure everyone always sees the course player. So if I am in this course right here, couple of options. First of all, as you go to a new slide, it will tell you which slide you're on. So in the bottom right-hand corner here, it will show you, and moving my GoToWebinar controls out of the way. So right here, it shows up. It says 10 of 19 right now. So they can tell there. In addition to that, they also have the navigation at the bottom here, and that'll show them which slide they're on. So on slide 10, and then you can see the total number of slides. So that'll give them their relative progress within the course as they're actually going through it in the course player. Whoops. Is there any way or plans to get the same look and feel of the series reports as currently available for individual courses? I'm suspecting you're referring to the actual the manage users screen within a series. Pull open a series here real quickly. There's my series. I suspect you're referring to the trainees page within a series. So a couple of thoughts here. One is that not specifically this design. However, when you're in a course and you go to the trainees tab,
They might be asking about flex.
Yeah.
Like they want flex versus. I'm not exactly sure which way you're talking about. If you're looking for if you prefer the course view versus the series view, the course view is not going to be transferred over to the series view. If that's what you're asking, the course view is actually a bit older interface that won't be transferred to series. But the view we're looking at right here in courses is very much like what you see in series. So in that way, they're comparable.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but feel free to follow up with us.
And then all reporting for series actually happens in our advanced reports, and that's pretty consistent across all of those reports.
While you're reading through those, Jason, I just want to make a clarification. I did give some misinformation earlier. The fast forwarding feature is actually only available for advanced and pro, not on the basic. So my apologies for that misinformation.
Can we see group in the manage users field? So I think that's a question of whether or not it's possible to see what groups someone is in. So it's not possible to see it on this grid. And people can be members of multiple groups at the same time, like a lot of groups at the same time, so we don't have a section for that. If you click on someone, you can see all of the groups that they're members of. So that's a quick way to do that. And then also, if you're in the groups themselves, you can see the number of people that fall into each of those. And if you click on it, it'll show you the users on the right-hand side here that are in that group. So there are different ways to do that. It's not possible to see it on the actual Manage Users page, but you can definitely get to that information and see that list of people if you want to.
You can always search from the Manage Users page. You can always search by group as well. So
good point. I should show that.
If that's helpful.
So this is sort of a smart search, so you can search for a lot of things. So like you could search for someone's name. So I can search for that, and it shows me if people are available. You can search for groups. So I could do that. And you could also search for people that are in this group and have the name Rita. So it shows you the one person. So that's kind of a filter that builds upon itself. So certainly a good area to get that information if you're looking for that. Can you clone clone a course, then edit specific portions, such as a course designed for U.S. and Canada trainees, but with country-specific content? Yeah, absolutely. So we do have the ability to copy a course. So when you are in a course, you click on it here. You see this panel on the right-hand side open, and you can hit copy. So that'll create a second copy of the course exactly as it's set up originally. It would be a totally separate course. So in that scenario, if you wanted to have a US or Canada version, what we often see is English versus Spanish, for example, or English versus some other foreign language that we support. You can absolutely do that. You would create a copy. If you then go into the new version of the course or the second course and just upload your content, you replace your content, I should say. You replace your PowerPoint with the new PowerPoint that has Spanish, for example. That's this replace function you see right here. It will just swap out that content exactly where it was with the new version that you uploaded. So it would have the Spanish version, for example, and then you can edit whatever else you need to in this course to make it consistent. When a student misses a deadline, is there any way to reset them without losing all their progress?
No, if you reset someone, you're going to lose all their progress. However, if you would like to extend the deadline, that's an option. So if you don't actually want them to have to retake the course, you can just go into either the course or the series and extend their deadline with the calendar icon there, and just choose a deadline that's farther out in the future, and then they'll be able to log in and continue where they left off. But if you reset somebody in a course, they will start all the way back fresh, and their records from the previous take of that course will be deleted.
So I'm in a course right now. I don't have a course that has people that are in a missed deadline status, but if I did, there's a column that appears here that allows you to extend the deadline for those people, so that's where you would do that rather than reset. Again, there's extensive documentation on this because it's sort of a advanced functionality. Extensive documentation in our Help Center, so feel free to browse that or search that to find that information, but if you have further questions, just contact support and we can walk you through that. Are there data size restrictions for audio and video files uploaded to Mindflash? We have, the only limit we have on the amount of data that you have in there is on our actual individual upload. So when you go in and you add a file to Mindflash, whether it's a PowerPoint or a video or whatever, there's a max of 350 megabytes for a single file. You can have multiple files of that or smaller size within a course. So if you have a video that's 600 megs long, if you just cut that video into two, equal size or whatever, you can upload those to Mindflash and it would play as two separate videos in Mindflash. That's totally fine. There's no limit on the amount of data you can have in your account in general. It's just the individual upload, and it's 350 megs.
Someone's asking that if they have a training that needs to be taken yearly, can I duplicate it and rename it for the current year, or is there a better way to accomplish this? And no, that's a great idea. If you want to preserve last year's training and all the reports therein, then just duplicate that course and invite the same people, and you'll have records for both courses. So just make a copy and you're good to go.
A question around notifying the trainer when someone has completed a series. That's a function that does exist. So if you go into a series, two things you want. First of all, you want to put someone in here as the trainer on the course, the person that would receive that. So in this case, it would be sent to me. And then go to the Customize tab, and Laura, did I get ahead of myself on this one?
Yeah, so
I
appreciate your optimism.
Yeah, so I'll do that one.
So the reports that get sent to trainers for series are actually on the course level. So there's not an activity summary for series, and so that is a feature request, and that's a great idea. But if you want to get notified about progress for trainings, then it's on the course level, so you'll have to go and set that up in the course, not in the series.
Obviously, I think that's a brilliant idea, so I will be advocating for that. Sorry for the confusion on that. Okay, so that is the extent of the questions that we have. We're a couple minutes over, so for those of you who are still there, thanks for sticking around. we have these periodically when we have a bunch of great new features to talk about. So look for an email about notification about future webinars. Additionally, we notify people in the product, so there's a little pop-up that appears when we have one available. So keep your eyes out for those, and we'll have many of these in the future. We also do have periodic webinars hosted by our customer success managers. Those are really great opportunities to hear from them what they see from customers and trainers on a regular basis. So I would encourage you to join those whenever you see those opportunities. And again, we're more than happy to answer any questions that are available. So those are good opportunities to ask them questions